Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Yay Basketball Daily, December 5th, 2022. A lot to get into over the weekend. I am Kyle. I am Michael. This is Kyle.
Good morning.
We're switching it up. Good morning. We're just going to dive in with what the headline is there for the weekend, obviously. Anthony Davis seems to be back, at least for now. Lakers beat the Bucks 133-129. Goes off for 44 versus Giannis. 40 for Giannis, 44 for AD. They had a little duel. And then last night against the Wizards, 55 points. Crazy game. Crazy performances back to back. I'm sure you got to see, at least some of this Bucks game. What were your takeaways of that?
Yeah, tough. I was probably getting ready to talk a little more trash this morning, but he came out and did it again on Saturday or on Sunday. So I'll leave AD alone. Good game for him. I thought after watching that game that can't be too upset. Bucks played well. I thought at the time that might be like the best game of AD season and the best game of Russ's season. Russ played an incredibly clean game. I think he had finished with 0 turnovers. So I thought between those two factors, LeBron had a strong game, scored, I think, finished in the 20s. So, I kind of chalked it up as one loss that the Bucks definitely wanted, but it's just one game in December. You're not seeing these guys in the playoffs, so not too worried about it. But yeah, strong game for the Lakers. That would be the second of what's now a 3-game win streak, coming off yesterday's win. But yeah, how are you feeling about how AD's looking?
Well, I mean. I don't want to overreact. And, people are already saying after this good stretch, he's got an MVP case. And I just think it's too early. I think that the Lakers need to improve a lot more than if they're going to, if he's going to have a legitimate case. And also he would have to sustain this. What he did on Friday was incredible, but what he did last night was nearly as impressive. The Wizards big men, Daniel Gafford and Kristaps Porzingis aren't slumps on defense, but they're definitely not Brook Lopez and Giannis. No. I think in a way doing it against Giannis and Brook Lopez, who Brook Lopez is an early defensive player of the year candidate.
Yes, he is.
6 blocks the other night against I don't remember who it was. Who was their game after the Lakers? He had 6 blocks in that game.
Yeah.
So I was thinking originally, the Bucks aren't full strength, and then they are full strength. They get Middleton back, and then I was thinking, well, he was rusty. He ended up not being that rusty. I would need to get the exact stats back, but he shot a good percentage and played, I think, 22 minutes. So full strength, kind of questionable. Again, it's one game. I don't want to overreact. It is in December. But I do think this says good things. And yes, you made a good note about Russell Westbrook. He seems to be playing smart basketball. What? Like he wasn't taking the there was only one shot in the Bucks game that he took where I was like, why are you shooting that? And that was because it was a 2-for-1 attempt. He's apparently a lethal 40-plus foot shooter now. He's hit 3 half-court or beyond half-court shots in the last 3 games. Russell Westbrook has not only embraced this role as the facilitator, but has not only embraced this role as a 6th man, but he's maximizing it. I mean, his role right now is just feed AD, be a monster on the off the bench, and he's doing that. So, and here's some more look at AD last night. I mean, like we mentioned, Kristaps Porzingis is huge, and he does have one of the higher block rates in the league still. He's playing one of his better seasons, but you can see here AD is just in his zone right now. Is it sustainable?
I don't know. Sorry, we got one guy blowing up the chat. Are you blind? We're gonna get to you, Rudy Gobert. Don't you worry. Is it sustainable? I don't know. It's Anthony Davis we're talking about here. Lakers Twitter was abuzz last night because of the statistical performances we saw that was sort of putting him in a conversation with things that Shaq has done in the past or Kobe's done in the past. And it seemed a little bit weird to me. Like, the team that values their own history more than any other. The
Right.
fan base is already lumping him in with those two. It
Yeah.
seems odd for 2 games in December. I don't know. Is it closer to being the start of an MVP case? Is it closer to being more of a Linsanity West phenomenon from just a couple good games in December? I don't know, but I'm going to wait and see before I start giving any future end of season awards to Anthony Davis. We got to see more.
Definitely. We don't want to, like we said, we don't want to overreact to it, but I mean, pretty impressive performances here so far from AD. Let's move on to another good game on Friday. The Heat, Celtics, they played on Wednesday, and that was the day that Jason Tatum went off, and the Celtics got the victory. But this time, the Heat had Jimmy Butler playing at a high level, and that seems to be the difference for them. It was pretty much the same game without Tatum going crazy. It was just Jimmy Butler was there. And so here's a look at some Jimmy Butler highlights that we've got pulled up. He hits the shot in overtime to give him a late lead. This is what the Heat need in moments like that. They just need their guy, and Jimmy Butler seems to be that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. You look for, I guess, what the weaknesses are of this Celtics team, because to me, they're kind of an early title favorite. So It's sort of analyzing, okay, well, if this team is going to be there at the end, what's going to cost them a title, or what moves do we think they're going to make? And really, they're just not very deep. Looking at some of these box scores, Tatum and Brown have been amazing. I assume they're going to continue to be amazing. But man, when you look down the box score and it's Marcus Smart's out right now and Robert Williams is out right now, you're playing 9-man rotations with, okay, you get Brogdon coming off the bench. That was a good offseason signing for you. And after that, it's Grant Williams, Luke Cornett, and Sam Hauser. And we'll get to the other game against the Nets this weekend. But when you look at that, it's like, okay, well, Grant Williams gave you 18 points, and he's a -7. Brogdon was a -20, and you get a combined -22 from Cornett and Hauser. So that's sort of where the fall off is for them. They have an unbelievable starting lineup, best offensive rating in the league. It just kind of falls off there. So if you have a deep team, maybe that's your chance against the Celtics, or we'll wait and see if that's the kind of move they make to kind of build out more of the bench.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Heat now, I need to look at the standings real quick. The Heat are in the 9 spot. I mean, they're a game out of 5 though. They seem to be kind of getting it together. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10, but Jimmy Butler coming back. I think what it comes down to is, can Bam kind of pick it up, because he's kind of having a down year, not shooting as well as he was last year, and definitely not the defensive black hole that he was last year. I say that in a good way. But Jimmy Butler comes back, gets the win over the Celtics, and then you want to talk about Celtics Nets real quick? Yeah,
woof. Man, rough finish to that game for the Nets. Celtics combined for 5 steals in the fourth quarter. Tatum had 2, Brown had 2, Brogdon had 1. I want to say at least 4 of those led to run out baskets on the other end. Watching that game, started paying attention more when it got close late in the fourth quarter. And then, my goodness, just Brown and Tatum, I think they both picked KD's pocket top of the key and ran those out. There were a couple KD passes inside that were kind of batted down and picked up by the Celtics. So just smothering defense late in the game. You can really tell the difference in late game execution between these two teams right now. You don't want to disparage KD, but like he said a few weeks ago, the starters they're running out there with him is just not going to cut it right now against a team as good as the Celtics.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's 31 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and he's a -19. Shoots 54% from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 80% at the line. I mean, that's what you would want from Kevin Durant. That should be all you need from Kevin Durant to have a competitive team. and you get a whole bunch of single digits from these guys. I mean, Kyrie gets 18, Joe Harris gets 13, but I mean, Seth, not a shot. He went 0 for 1. Yeah.
0 for 1. Yeah.
Seth Curry, who is one of the premier shooters in the league. TJ Warren is back, 1 of 4 in 18 minutes.
Back like Kendrick Nunn's back.
Yeah.
And then Cam Thomas. Yeah, Cam Thomas 1 of 5. As a rookie, looked really promising, and it's just completely just disappeared.
Yeah. So the Nets, of course, lose that game, and then they remain still in the play-in spots at the 8 seed, right in there in the mix still. They're 13 and 12. They are 1 game back. They are tied, due to tiebreaker and wins losses. But they are tied with the Sixers for the 5 seed. So they are only a game out of 4. So maybe they go on a little run. Who knows? But man, your thing that you always go back to is don't play guys that suck. And right now they're doing a lot of that.
I'd love to find some of these fan bases at the beginning of the year and be like, all right, you're 25 games in. You're the You're the Sixers, Pacers, Raptors, and Nets, and you all have the same record. Who's happy and who's not?
Yeah, right. Yeah, geez. Honestly, the Sixers being where they are is slightly a surprise given they've been dealing with the injury bug all year.
Oh, yeah, just devastated with injuries. Yeah, not bad if you're the Sixers, and obviously if you're the Pacers, you're thrilled. But,
even though they haven't been doing too well on this West Coast road trip so far. Got beat out by the Blazers last night, and of course the Kings. What I've been calling my the stepson matchups all weekend. So
Kings, Blazers, Jazz. Yeah.
Let's go to Anthony Simons on Saturday. Anthony Simons, an animal. You want to take the lead on this one here? I think he what was it, 45, right?
Yeah. Man, Anthony Simons. I expected big things from him this year. Didn't really expect Dame to be missing this much time early in the season, so that's definitely contributed. He's had a much higher usage rate than I would have expected this high early in the season. But yeah, just shooting lights out. Another early kind of huge performance from him. First quarter, he was huge. And now currently he's second in the league in 3-pointers made behind only Steph Curry. So
crazy.
I think that's a good indication of where he's at. He's 8 3-pointers made ahead of Donovan Mitchell, who's in third, who's obviously been lighting it up this year. So very promising. I'd hate to just kind of keep hammering this point home because I think we talk about Simons a lot, but he's doing some big things. He had another good win yesterday. So overall, now they have Dame back, get the win last night with Dame. So now this is maybe a team to watch. They were kind of slipping a little bit when you were looking kind of overall their performance. They were 3-7 in their last 10, but now they've picked up a couple wins. They're still hanging tough right there, a little bit above 500. They rattle off a couple more wins and they're right back to being a 4 or 5 seed. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I texted you after this game because Simons went crazy, but so did Jeremy Grant. He had 33 points in this as well, and I texted you after this game. I said I think that Simons and Jeremy Grant might be the perimeter help that Dame has needed all along. CJ was there forever, but CJ can only do so much, and these two guys are playing out of their minds right now. Not necessarily playing out of their minds. They're playing, at least in Jeremy Grant's situation, he's playing his role. He's never been given, I think, the right opportunity. He's never been in the right fit, the right system, put around the right guys. He's at 46% from 3, and effective field goal of 56% right now, which is insane. He's one of the better outside shooters in the league, and hardly anybody's talking about, at least percentage-wise, hardly anybody's talking about him. So, but as far as Simons, this is his 3rd year now, right? So
he's been around a little bit longer than that.
Okay, but he's
on the scene. Yeah.
He seems to be finding his form with Dame gone. And then last night, Dame comes back and they beat the Pacers. Dame had a little bit of a work-in game. He was taking some shots in the first quarter that you could tell he was trying to shoot his way back into it. He was a little rusty, but still the Blazers get the win there. So they, in terms of standings, they are, like you said, they are the 8th spot, 1 game out of the 5 spot. Everything's still so tight here in the Western Conference that they go on a little run, because they're 3-7 in their last 10. They had a slide. At first, when they were without Dame, it looked like, they can keep it up. They know what they're doing here. But they went on a little slide. But they think the back-to-back wins, they might regain some momentum, and especially if Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant playing like that, they've really got some potential. So I
think you're right on Grant. I think the role thing is such a big factor for him. He was really starting to show out in Denver a couple years ago, and then he kind of bet on himself and went to Detroit because he had at least 3 guys ahead of him with Jokic, Porter, and Murray, where he was never going to be more than the 4th option, which didn't pan out. If he would have stuck around, he would have been the 2nd option for an entire season. But then he goes to the Pistons, and he's kind of their primary option, but everybody discredits it because it's good stats, bad team, proven on a good team. And now he's kind of where he needs to be. That 3rd option, I think, is perfect for him. You have Dame and Anthony kind of open up the lane for him. He got to the line 14 times against the Jazz. So I'm really happy for him. Like you said, I think this is the perfect role, and I hope he gets to keep doing this. So
yeah, definitely. I'm sure that he will, that he'll continue to maximize this. I believe it. At least let's hope, for his sake and for the Blazers' sake. All right. Speaking of tight Western Conference standings, little shuffling at the 2 spots. The New Orleans Pelicans are on a 4-game win streak, while the Denver Nuggets have lost 2 straight, including their last night's game against the Nuggets. The Nuggets against the Pelicans, where they lost to not just the Pelicans, but they lost to one Jose Alvarado.
Grand Theft Alvarado.
Yes, this man went off. So we've got to look at his field goals made here. 8 threes for the man, 38 points. Got subbed out with 30 seconds remaining so that the crowd could give him an ovation. Not something that you see from 6 men very often. And he earned it. He's been a kind of the heel for a lot of opposing point guards in the Western Conference the last 2 years, running back to the Western Conference playoffs last year. But this time he showed us his scoring capability. What are your thoughts on this matchup here?
Yeah, like you said, when you can out-heel Chris Paul, that's putting you in impressive company.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played incredible. 38 points. My God. If you're the Nuggets, you got to be pretty disappointed by that. Nowhere near the same bench performance from the Nuggets. I believe Bones Highland was benched after 5 minutes, minus 14. Vlatko Čančar has been kind of a local fan favorite lately. He goes 0 for 4. He's a minus 10. Pretty terrible overall performance from the Nuggets bench. Obviously, you get a nice performance from Jokic again, 32, 16, and 9 with 2 steals and a block. Good Lord. But
that's the thing that stood out to me was that, yes, he didn't get a whole lot of help, of course. Jamal Murray, 18 points. MPJ obviously doesn't play. Aaron Gordon, 19. Bruce Brown, 13. But Jokic went off. He had 32, 16, and 9. And this man on the screen right now is hitting those kinds of shots.
Don't matter.
Igniting the crowd, and they lose a game that I feel like they kind of, I don't want to say needed it, but I think they could have used it. And the Pelicans were there to make a statement. 25 from Zion, Jonas 13 and 2 rebounds from your starting center. I mean, nobody went off on the Pelicans except for Jose Alvarado. It's just by committee there. And do you think this standing switch up and this game in particular says more about the Pelicans being where they want to be, or the Nuggets not being where they want to be?
Good question. I'll go positive and I'll say Pelicans are one of the toughest teams in the league, like mentally, not just like, they're one of the best, but like toughest teams. I think that's definitely where the Nuggets are lacking right now. I think they're more talented, than they were maybe a couple years ago in the bubble, but I do not think they're as tough as they were then with those 3-1 comebacks. Like, this team, I don't think could pull that off. A lot of that relies on Jamal Murray. He's just not quite back yet. But when you look at this Pelicans team, they're just tough. It's not just Alvarado. Obviously, Herb Jones is extremely tough.
Yeah.
Trey Murphy is underrated. He's going to dunk on your head a couple times a game. We all know Valanciunas is kind of an enforcer inside. I think that's sort of the difference maker right now. This is not a team you want to see come playoff time. They're going to
definitely. I mean, and they get the win over the Nuggets, and they do it without Brandon Ingram, who is maybe their best player. I mean, it's either him or Zion. Ingram was looking really hot to start the season before his injury. I would go positive as well, but it is alarming to me that the Nuggets are still struggling, and the thing that stands out to me is that one of my favorite players, I think one of a lot of people's, everybody's favorite player that's not their favorite player, what I said about Damian Lillard a couple years ago, Jamal Murray is back and still hasn't really gotten it together yet. I mean, he's still trying to find his rhythm. Now, I question, was the 2020-2021 season, the bubble Jamal, was that an anomaly, and we won't see that again? He averaged career highs in points, three-point percentage, field goal percentage, assists, steals. I mean, it was his best year by a lot. He's averaging 0.1 assists higher than he has in his three prior seasons, but he's shooting 38% from three, which isn't terrible. He's just not putting up very many. He's not doing the things that we were accustomed to seeing him being Jokic's sidekicks.
Yeah. He's not taking over games the same way.
Yeah,
all.
Definitely.
So that's.
So any other big weekend takeaways that you want to touch on before we move on here?
I wanted to say I appreciated your banner for the Nuggets game. It looked sort of like an astrology chart. I'm a Pelican rising
and a Nugget sliding. That's funny.
No, we're still kind of, now we're at the quarter mark of the season, starting to take a little bit, some of these results a little more seriously. But yeah, like you said, I'm worried about the Nuggets, but I was worried about the Suns beginning of the season too. They had some rough looking games, and here they are at the top of the standings. So we still got to wait and see, but now it's December and we're kind of heading into, we're not that far from the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So I have not seen many trade rumors at all.
Me neither.
I feel like we got to be close to that. It's got to be coming. I think that Lakers cutoff was mid-December, and now all of a sudden the guys who were maybe on the trade block are all of a sudden playing a little better. So
playing well, yeah. I mean,
see.
that's interesting. Yeah, it is an interesting kind of dynamic in LA. Is how do they what do they do now? Because Russell Westbrook is playing the best basketball he has in a couple years, and at least fit-wise and for the team, he's not just going out there and stat padding. He seems to be, facilitating to the guys that need the ball. He seems to be operating the offense off the bench in a really positive way. His energy is a positive energy. He seems to be having fun out there. You getting rid of that guy? I don't know. I mean, yes, probably you should, but should you? Let's just say that in the next couple weeks they slide into, I don't know, the 8-9 seed, which they're only a couple games back from right now. Say AD keeps playing like this, whatever. They pop into the play-in spots, and they're on a roll. And let's say they've won, I don't know, 10 of their last 15 or something. You getting rid of these guys? I don't know. It's a weird situation for the Lakers. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I'd say sell Russ high. I still think there's a Lakers Heat trade to be made. So,
for who? We'll Kyle Lowry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of Russ and keep at least one of your picks?
Yeah.
Might be able to get Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. Well,
or
Woj was
Duncan Robinson off the scrap heap.
Yeah. Woj was talking about how the Lakers now are looking at the summer. They're saying, do we want to, because we've got LeBron, or do we want to try to go for it this year when it looks like the West is a bloodbath, or maybe there's some shuffling in the offseason and maybe somebody becomes available then. Something like that. Maybe somebody, says they're not going to re-sign or something like that, and then a team gets a little nervous and they move on those picks then. So we'll see. Taking a look at the standings, we just talked about the Pelicans and Nuggets shuffling. Grizzlies stay strong throughout the weekend. The Kings get a win over the Pacers on Friday and stay in the 5 spot. The Warriors, look out! Here they come. They've won 7-3. They've won their last 2, and they are now out of the play-in spots into the 6th spot. And then the Clippers through the Mavericks are all separated by one game, all 7 through 10. The Clippers lost that game to the Kings on Friday, where there were light the beam chants in LA.
In LA.
Yes. And the Lakers or Clippers players didn't know what the hell to make of it. There's Kawhi, Paul George, Robert Covington, and John Wall are sitting there like, what are they saying? It's light the beam, baby, light the beam. And then, we just talked about the Lakers kind of at length. The bottom three there look like they're going to stay the bottom three. The Thunder try their best to win games, and they've won 2 straight, but...
Oh, yeah, we did promise Rudy Gobert we'd talk about him.
Oh, so yeah, go for it.
Real quick. Yeah, Thunder Wolves, talk about sliding teams. The vibes just keep getting worse in Minnesota. Rudy Gobert with a Grayson Allen-esque kick on Kendrick Williams. Not really sure what was going on there, but he gets ejected early second quarter from that game against the Thunder. Wolves managed to make it a game in the fourth quarter. They actually had a 2-point lead for a while there before SGA just kind of put the clamps on him, and that was the end of that. They had some more techs. Rudy Gobert was the only one to get ejected, but I know D'Lo came up with a tech. I'm pretty sure Edwards came up with a tech. Just overall was not what you want to see. Like, losing's one thing, but going out ugly like that is another. And there was, God, I think I still had it here. Yeah. I want to say this was Nas Reed, quote, "Sometimes we might have bonehead turnovers that we're better than." Sort of feels like when there's like a tragedy in this country and there's people are like, this isn't who we are.
Yeah, we're better
Nas
than
Reed.
this. Nas Reed.
This is exactly who you are.
The Wolves...
bonehead turnovers are, D'Lo and Ant. That's kind of their MO. So, yeah, I said early on, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to judge them. It's going to look ugly early, but now we're getting into the not early part of the season, and it's just getting worse.
Yeah.
So.
It is. It just keeps getting more intense. I mean, the Wolves just continue to have problems, it feels like, and I don't really know what the fix is. I mean, I think I said this on the show the other day that Justin mentioned on the podcast recently that they should trade Cat, and I was like, you crazy. Now it's not looking like such a crazy idea, but also I don't think that Cat's the problem.
Rudy Gobert's the problem.
Yeah, apparently so. Anyways, Eastern Conference standings. We'll take a look real quick. Celtics stay at the top spot. Look like they're poised to keep that despite the loss to the Heat. The Bucks, despite the loss against the Lakers, win last night and stay in that 2 spot. Of course, Cavs holding firmly on to the 3 seed. The Hawks beat the Nuggets, which without, by the way, Trae Young, who had an argument with Nate McMillan and just decided not to go to the home game. So they the Hawks beat the Nuggets without Trae Young or John Collins, who's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Philadelphia 76ers and all the way through the the Nets are all tied-ish. The 5 through 8 spots we talked about a little bit. Heat getting their mojo back, jump into that 9 spot. The New York Knicks want to play basketball, and they're 4-6 in their last 10, and jump into the 10 seed. And then from there, it's pretty typical. Look out for the Wizards. They seem to be, despite the loss last night, they seemed they could make a run at the play-in. Kristaps Porzingis playing at career best. Kyle Kuzma playing at a career best despite fouling out late last night against the Lakers. And then Bulls through Magic look like they're going to be firmly holding onto those 12 through 15 spots. What do you think about DeRozan to the Lakers?
That's what DeRozan wanted to do in the first place, right? So if you could get off DeRozan and Vooch, if you're the Bulls, maybe get both those picks. That's not a bad rebuilding look. I mean, we know the Lakers are hesitant to get rid of them for a reason. Those are probably going to be pretty excellent picks. So. Yes. Maybe if you're the Bulls, that's what the vibe is right now. But man, it's tough. They were really close to having a competitive team, but it's not looking like it right now.
Last year was their year. I thought that they could have made a run at it last year. I don't think they would have won a title or anything, but I think they could have made at least a run, conference finals maybe, if they'd been all healthy. And it just never really came. It never really came to fruition. Anything else you want to say on this Monday morning before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I'm really excited for Suns Mavs tonight. Good rematch of the conference semifinals last year.
Yes. Oh yeah, we'll look ahead to tonight's games. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's it. That was a full weekend slate. I think we got through all the important stuff.
Yeah, so tonight we've got Clippers, Hornets, Bucks, Magic. Our first Giannis and Paolo matchup, first one I believe that we might be seeing for years to come. Let's hope. Thunder, Hawks. Yeah, all right. Celtics, Raptors. I think will be entertaining. And if I had to bet, I would take I'd take the spread on the Raptors. I think they could have a chance at winning that game in Toronto. Well, they've got one of the premier defenders in the league in OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam's playing out of his mind right now, despite missing a few weeks due to injury. Sixers, Rockets. Let's hope the Sixers can win that game. And then Heat, Grizzlies will be really exciting. Get to see that Heat culture take on Ja and Triple J and all those boys in Memphis. And yeah, you just mentioned it, Suns, Mavericks. I just want to see Luka and Devin Booker go for 50 each. That'd be amazing. It'd be really exciting. And then the Step Bros stay out west.
Splash Bros v Step Bros.
yeah. Pacers taking on the Warriors at home. Steph Curry are obviously averaging 30 points right now. Tyrese Halliburton playing out of his mind, controlling the game in almost all facets. Very impressive to see, but I think the Warriors will probably win that game at home because it is at home. So,
you taking Suns or Mavs?
Oh, I'll take the Suns. Oh, it's in Dallas.
What's the spread?
The Mavericks are -3.
Ooh, I'll take the Suns.
I'll take the Suns too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you got for the people, my friend?
I don't think so. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you've enjoyed this Yay Basketball Daily. We will be back tomorrow morning. Also, Yay Basketball Overtime this evening, 9 p.m. Central. It is a party. We got crazy music going on. We're playing 2K. We're answering all your burning NBA questions. We're talking about the podcast. We're talking about all this stuff. So be sure to tune into that. Hit the link in the description for all things Yay Basketball, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Instagram, the podcast, the YouTube, all of it. Hit the link in the description. Join the Chalkboard group chat if you want to chat with us directly. I can go on forever and ever with all of our plugs. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. We do appreciate it. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and we will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, Yay Basketball.